Welcome back to Oresh, Bulgaria, where the work is still going on our bungalow. It's obviously going to take a few months, but we're hoping to be in by the autumn. And we're back here today to see how they're getting on. So let's pop over. It's behind us. Yeah, somebody said that once, didn't they?
It's behind you.
It is. It's behind all that piece of land there, and house martins are zooming round us here. So we've just discovered a load of wasp nests on our property, so we're having to deal with them as well. Let's go and take a look. Last week you'll have seen Terry taking down half this wall, mud bricks and all that crumbled dust. Well, this week he's brought his acro props and we're going to take the rest of the wall down. We're going to put in 2 timber lintels. Not quite sure if these are to support the roof above or they are to support the ceiling when we have to build across the gap, but I'm sure they'll probably actually do both. So the acro props are temporarily needed, and once the timber's in place, the rest of the wall comes down. Moving on to the bedroom, and I said that the bricked up window was going to be properly done because it's never going back in again. Taking the cover off the bedroom window means a little more light in the bedroom so you can see what you're doing. There'll be another week before we look at getting any electrics in, so we just need to get as much natural light in as possible. Taking more wall down means more rubble created and more to shovel outside, so that's carrying on. The floor in the hall and the floor in the little scullery area in front of the sink were all badly cracked, and they were going to be taken up anyway. But examination of the rest of the flooring means that we've decided to take it all up because some of the boards are rotten or have woodworm. We've got cracked concrete, and we thought it was best to start again, concrete the whole floor and then tile it. So over the next week or two you'll see us chipping away at that in between jobs. I decided to go for a walk up to the church, which isn't far from the cafe where we meet every morning, and I was going to go and try and look in the church, but there was a funeral on, and I was interested to see that they take the coffin away in a van. It's not always the same van because we saw a couple of funerals in the last few weeks, but they take the coffin up the hill to the cemetery, which is by the house I bought in 2007. While we're up here, let's have another look around the old tumble-down house that fell apart. And since we were here in March, it's become even more overgrown in the courtyard area. Can't really see the building through all the brambles and trees. And the approach path, which had been cleared by someone a couple of months ago, it's now back overgrown again. And some of these bits are prickly, so it wasn't very pleasant walking through here. So back on the job, and it's time to set some levels today, but first I wanted to demonstrate the depth of the septic pit because every photograph I've taken of it, it doesn't look that deep. So here's Eric, he's going to step down into the pit to set some levels down there. What you can't see until you look a bit more closely is that Terry's already down there and it needs a step ladder to get into the hole. So we're showing you the pegs and the wooden pegs and the string, which is setting the level for the foundations. And there are also some pegs deep down in that septic pit. You can just about see those. So there we are. We're just awaiting some ready mix concrete, which is on order and should come in the next day or two. In the meantime, Terry is taking up more floors, and this time in the main part of the hall he's preserving all the small stones to use as rubble. So it's only the big ones he's putting in the buckets because he won't be using those. Little jobs are going on here all the time, and in the not quite so dark bedroom you may be able to see that the original column of bricks that was supporting the chimney we no longer have, that's all been taken down. And there are other jobs going on. We've checked the water, the outside tap is working, and also the feed to what was the kitchen sink. There's also water coming through there, which is good news. We take one last look at the view, which is the thing that we're building here for. We just want to sit here and get this view once it's all finished. And then we move on, because the next morning it's time for the ready mix. As the truck tries to drive in through the driveway that we've created, we hit a bit of a hiccup, and it's not the drive's fault. There's a lack of traction on the grass verge outside, and the wagon finds it just can't push through the gates. Its wheels keep slipping. So, emergency plan rolls into operation. I'm never sure why they had these planks nailed together, but here they come into use as a backstop, because they're going to have to drop all this ready-mix concrete at the bottom of the drive, and of course it will run out onto the street. It's as though they expected this and they were already prepared for it. Now, time is not on our side at this point because the concrete will go off very quickly, so it needs to be put where it's going before it sets. So all the men doing all different jobs around the plot, in fact I think from around the village by the look of it, they all came down to help to get this stuff moved very quickly. And it's amazing how much concrete you can shift with just 2 wheelbarrows. It's poured straight into the foundations of our new bathroom, and after that it's poured down into the septic pit hole up to the level set by the pegs. There was a little bit of concrete left over, and that made a concrete path along the front of the house. Waste not, want not. So I'm just going to tell you about this hill I'm about to drive down. So my house is up there on the left, and from here we go steadily downhill. So if you look ahead down there, you'll see that we're heading down a pretty steep hill. You may not be able to see the screen just to the right of the steering wheel, but if you can, it's got my mobile phone connected to it, and you should be able to see a little dial pad and the fact that we're roaming in Bulgaria. But the hill is the thing. And the other day I was driving down here, heading down to the main road to head out to Svistov, and suddenly the dashboard thing in the middle of the screen there said to me, "You've had a WhatsApp message from Becky Pagan. Would you like to hear it?" So I didn't know at that point that the car even did that, but it did. I said yes, and the car read me the message and said, "Would you like to reply?" I said yes again, and I was driving over this very bumpy piece of road which apparently has been ridged to help horses come down here, and I dictated a message back to the car, and the car said, "Would you like to send that?" And I said yes, and off it went to Becky in Australia. That kind of technology I always found impressive. I might try later on in the day to demonstrate how that works, but obviously I can't just get Becky to call us. I'll get a WhatsApp message from somewhere so you can see how that works.